This weather video is driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin City Subaru, and 802 Honda, all located off of exit 7 on Interstate 89. A very dynamic storm in progress right now with marginal temperatures in the lowest few thousand feet of the troposphere, making for wet snow loading issues and very high snow water equivalent. And the snow to water ratio is less than 10 to 1 over a wide area. The worst area, again, in Bennington County and then the southeastern portions of Rutland County, especially in the Green Mountains, but also the Taconics and some of the adjacent higher terrain especially, is really ground zero for this certain event. Now we have northwesterly winds blowing in, colder air temperatures, and so temperatures have reached levels that are causing the snow to stick. Note 33 degrees here at North Adams, and then 33 also at Bennington. The temperatures have gotten down to 32 degrees on a fall there in Rutland, and the temperatures in eastern parts of Vermont are not an issue as warmer air is blowing in. So eastern Vermont is really not going to be the issue. It's really going to be the spine of the Green Mountains. Once we get north of the areas around Rutland County and a little bit of an upslope component, it's starting to take place right now in the Berkshires. And this will be advancing north and east, but this main precipitation maximum, as modeled, will then track north and east across the state. This is the HRRR model from the most current run, and you can see how the snow is at its worst here with these darker shades, and then the snow water equivalent actually lets up over time. The heavier snows actually lighten up a little bit. But except for the eastern part of the Champlain Valley, this is valid about 3 o'clock, and parts of northern Vermont will see the worst at this point. Again, Windham County back up into Windsor County. This is the areas that are really not going to see a whole lot of worries. And I would advance that north probably into southern Orange County, and then from that point north, some of the higher terrain is going to get into the issue for this afternoon. And we could see some outages sort of isolated to scattered in nature. But the worst area is occurring with this first batch, and taking a look at the precipitation map. And this is that maximum here, what I was talking about, where the darker greens over Vermont just now moving in. This is valid at 10 o'clock. So from 10 o'clock through 1 o'clock this afternoon, just about straddling the state. That's our heaviest precipitation. Then it shifts a little bit further to the north. Southern parts of Vermont see much lighter precip. And then it looks like it kind of works its way into the upslope position here, where the far northern part of the Champlain Valley, mostly the eastern part of the valley, nestled up against the Green Mountains, could see probably the most snow. Now, it's not depicted here, but this is an upslope flow. This is the surface area of low pressure. Stronger winds here. Incidentally, winds do not look to be strong enough to be causing issues at this point, although I've seen a couple deep thunder alerts come out for the southern parts of Vermont. I think they'll stay under 40 miles per hour as it looks right now. And this is current snowfall depicted by through 7 o'clock total snow accumulation with deep thunder using WRF model physics. So you can see that the heaviest snowfall generally in the higher terrain, the Route 7 corridor here. Most of your high elevation areas impacted. You get into Windham County, really not as much, very little in the Connecticut River Valley up to the Passumpsic River Valley, parts of eastern Vermont. I don't think we're going to see any outages really east of the Greens even. Maybe some parts of sort of the eastern part of Washington County, parts of Orange County, Groton Forest region, perhaps, again through today. That will change as we'll get into the upslope condition, but that's going to be a much drier, less dense snowfall. So we're not too worried about what's going to be taking place later overnight tonight and tomorrow, except right along the Green Mountains, sort of eastern part of the Champlain Valley. Some area here we have to watch for tomorrow. But in the meantime, really the big players right now are going to be Bennington, southern and eastern portions of Rutland County, and then up the spine of the Green Mountains for sure. We're going to take a quick look at the SPC storm structure as well. This is at 300 millibars. You can see an elongated trough, negatively tilted, this sort of a southeast northwest axis, and this is in the process of cutting off. At 500 millibars, it is cut off at 18,000 feet approximately over to the southwest, and indeed this is the lifting mechanism that's producing some of the heavier snowfall in portions of southern Vermont currently. 700 millibar layer slice, centered just about right over us here, and you can see the moisture levels at 700 millibars much stronger on the western flank of the storm, with drier air entrained trying to work its way north. At 850 millibar level, approximately the top of Mount Mansfield, 4,000 feet or so, 4,200. You can see the cold air advection, the 0 degree center line here, has made it almost into the Northeast Kingdom. And again, the major precipitation being indicated by radar, mostly in the western slopes of the Green Mountains. At 925 millibars, you can see that the colder air overhangs the warmer air at closer to surface. This is about 2,000 feet or so. And base lodge levels, and once again, the 925 millibar low is slanted. Remember, the 500 millibar low is here, and the 300 millibar trough. So there's a slant in the atmosphere, colder to the southern and western portions of Vermont, warmer the further north and east you go. So once again, this is a bigger picture here. You can see where the shades of green here are showing the more persistent, steadier precipitation. This is formed in the form of snow and a mix of rain combination snow here. And it's a slanted forecast, right? Slant in the atmosphere, making for a tricky marginal forecast in terms of temperatures. This colder air that you see, these colder temperatures, are going to be making it in eventually into Vermont later on today, and that should help things out a lot for all of us. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.